Hello, Jo.
Hi, Jo.
We've had a couple of sessions today talking about neurodiversity in the workplace.
Yep. How did you find them?
Really interesting. And I was in both sessions, and actually I've been working with you on getting it together as well. So I've sort of seen what you're talking about a number of times. And each time you just get more from it. I think there's so much to think about on that topic.
Yeah.
So can you tell us in a really broad way, when we're saying let's talk about neurodiversity, where do we even start?
A good question, because it seems like everyone's talking about neurodiversity, and a lot of people are asking, do I have it? Do my children have it? Even in terms of what do we call it? And things do seem to be changing quite a lot rapidly in the space. And first of all, what I want to just clarify is that neurodiversity covers us all. It's the diversity of how we all think, process and behave. Neurodiversity isn't just about a pocket of people. We're all part of it and we all think differently. And those who then might perhaps be classed as neurodivergent, who think differently to the majority, are categorised in several neurotypes. Okay, so there might be the things that we classify as ADHD or the autistic spectrum condition. And there's many other different diagnoses that go along that. But people who fall within that neurodivergent group are as individual and varied as those who don't. We're all just so unique. And as you know, that's our passion at ProAction HR, is allowing everyone to thrive through their uniqueness and be themselves and be authentic. And organisations can then thrive and grow and be ready for the future.
So it's interesting, isn't it? Because we talk about the norms, and the one of the things that you had on a slide this morning was the societal norm. But all the time, I think individually, we think, well, I don't fit into that, and I don't fit into something that I come up every day. A lot of the stuff we were talking about earlier, I'm kind of thinking, oh yeah, I can identify with that. I'm guessing that doesn't make me neurodivergent. That probably makes me normal, but normal is different for everybody, and that's one of the challenges. So what is it that you're trying to get people talking about in these sessions that in relation to this topic within the workplace?
I think what if I could achieve anything throughout any of these discussions is the recognition that everyone is different, and that I can take you a bit into sort of the way that our brain works, if you like, that we make assumptions on a daily basis to help us survive, to help us navigate. We are bombarded with so many messages that we make assumptions to help us get to answers, and some of those assumptions is that people are similar to ourselves and think similarly to the way that we are. And actually, you don't have to be neurodivergent, fall into any of these neurotypes to think differently to other people. And so that's what I want to do, is actually recognise that everyone can think differently and we should treat people how they want to be treated. We had an interesting discussion, Jo, about open plan offices just the other day.
Yeah.
I think there's an assumption that a lot of people can work in those spaces, and yet I haven't spoken to one person yet that says, yeah, that's me, I really enjoy an open plan office, I love the noise, and so I'm sure there are people out there, but actually maybe we just don't make the assumption that everyone is happy with noise and that everyone can concentrate and that everyone's happy if we just pour them into a brainstorm at the last minute. Or actually, if we're asking people to do a presentation, that maybe somebody else might be better to play to someone else's strengths through that presentation. And the person with the technical knowledge could be there to answer the questions. We can make accommodations and we can be flexible to enable people to play to their strengths rather than see things as a deficit. Oh, they can't do that, or they don't do that, or they get stressed that, oh, we can't do that. Actually, what can people do and play to those strengths? And that's what I want to achieve from these sessions.
So it sounds like what you're saying is you're not in these sessions here to give sort of prescriptive answers. it's really more a bigger picture thing of encouraging people to listen and encouraging people to empower people to be able to push back on things and to talk about what they need and how they need to work. So this isn't about identifying people with a diagnosis of some type. It's actually all of us have things that make us different again.
Yeah.
That it's much easier for all of us if we all understood that and
Yeah.
we felt comfortable in highlighting that.
Absolutely. And so we've got a 10-point plan, if you like, that organisations and individuals can check against themselves.
Yeah.
And these are some of the things that I can do to help people be their best selves. And one of them is far deeper than anything we're talking about just in terms of neurodiversity. It's about the culture of an organisation that leaders and managers and anyone and everyone can contribute to. And that's a culture of psychological safety. That is a culture of people being able to say, you know what, I'm struggling with that. Or actually, do you know what, I don't agree with that. Or even, hang on a second, I'm not sure that that's right. Things that can really benefit an organisation without fear that they're going to be judged for it or that there won't be a negative comeback on them. And a manager can make or break that for any person. So, one of the key skills there is compassion. I'm listening to you, I'm hearing you, I can show some empathy with that. And then guess what? I'm going to come and talk to you about it again. And I'm going to feel okay. And then I'm going to perform better in my job because I feel safe and I feel like I can be authentic. And that is one of the key components. And most things we actually do in terms of the learning development here at ProAction HR is all about that. We need to be able to people to be authentic and our part in that.
So it's everybody needs to be part of it, doesn't it? When you're talking about the culture in an organisation, that's obviously all about leading by example. And we know at ProAction, we do a lot of work helping managers be the best they can be. And this is all part of that. But that therefore needs to extend down to everybody in an organisation, because it's no good just having a manager that is understanding about this subject. Everybody has to be safe, feel safe, speaking up for themselves. So that's not just me to my line manager, it's me to my colleagues and me to my peers and that kind of thing. So that's the challenge that's on for managers, is to get that culture sort of disseminating. Yeah. Literally that it is the culture, not that it's just a skill that a manager has.
And I think that's many times within organisations, people put a sticky plaster on things, if you like. There is a place for communication training and confidence and empowering people. So people who are neurodivergent, we can, conduct some training so that actually they feel empowered or confident to speak up about their needs. But actually, unless you've got a culture that someone is then going to listen to that, nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to be different. You're just going to end up then with frustrated people going, hang on a second, this doesn't work for me. All right, So that whole thing of actually responding rather than reacting is key. And again, we've got our own methodology that we try and put in here that any kind of situation, I'm thinking of a manager and they might have someone come to talk to them about something. First of all, just pause, just listen. What is that person trying to say to you? Don't just react with, you've been late 3 times last week, right? This is a chance to go, what else could be going on here? What else could be happening? Why is this person 3 times last week? Why is this person struggling with that? What's going on? And actually by being open to some of these other scenarios and things that are happening, or even what I might have done to contribute that, I can really listen. And by listening, then I can understand. And by understanding, then I consider options and alternatives and can help and support. But I can only do that if I'm pausing and allowing that to happen. Then I can choose next steps thoughtfully, mindfully, and consideration, and then I can act. But all too soon, I think we don't do enough of that stop, pause and self-reflect. We just react because we're busy, it's fast-paced, boom, boom, boom all the time. actually, is there a different way? And that will help the culture support people.
And it's interesting because we started off talking about neurodiversity, and I think people see that word and hear that word and think all of these things that we were talking about, autism and Asperger's or Tourette's, there's all these names of conditions and all of these things that people have heard of, but actually what you were just talking about, this is actually just dealing with people, one human to another, right? Yeah. And actually, if we can take away the labels and take away the diagnoses, that's not what it's about. It's about treating people as we would want to be treated.
Exactly.
And recognising that.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Jo, there are definitely parts of conditions where it can be really debilitating,
no, of course.
And people can't leave the house,
yeah.
or, and all of that. So there are some things that I don't even have the clinical knowledge to even kind of explore and go there.
Yeah.
But where we can, and we can make a difference, and we allow people, then who knows, what we can create.
Yeah.
We know there's some real, Elon Musk, for example, he sort of says that he has Asperger's, and actually, I expect him to be the cool dude. He's putting people in rockets to space. That's fine, let him shine, be who he wants to be. And who knows where they're going to go and what they're going to do. Mm. But the more we try and conform to the norm, we're not shining. We're not shining. We're not putting ourselves out there. We're limiting ourselves. So actually, let's enable an environment where people can go and shine. We're all frigging awesome, actually, apart from a few exceptions, I'm sure. But actually, whilst all the time I'm trying to be accepted by everybody and conform, I'm not going after what I really believe in my true heart.
So it sort of comes back to this societal norm that actually most of us are making some kind of adjustment to how we'd want to be in order to fit in. So if you look at the norm, there's no such thing, and we're almost creating it ourselves, aren't we? For whatever reasons, for however that's sort of come about.
Of course, there's practical. Yeah,
we talked about it earlier, didn't we? Yes. There's got to be some kind of boundaries or whatever. Yeah. We can't just it would be anarchy.
It would be anarchy.
But such fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the thing that resonated with me was the more you talk about it, and it's the same with all sorts of things, isn't it? We could compare it to all sorts of things. The more we talk about it, the more all of us who have these little sort of things that we're hiding or these things that we don't want to talk about can feel comfortable that, oh yeah, I feel that too, or that's okay. I can bring that up and make my life easier.
Absolutely. And I think, managers, leaders, organisations have a duty to role model that. It's okay to say and put your hands up where you might not be okay, or voice any struggles, or voice your strengths, let it be safe and role model it.
Yeah.
There's wonderful work by Brené Brown on vulnerability, and I recommend any leader who might be thinking about this to look into, because it really is important to role model it so that other people can then speak out too. We're all human.
Yes. And even managers.
And
so they'd benefit themselves.
Even me.
Yeah. What? Who?
Wonderful. Right.
Thank you so much. It's really valuable. I know everyone that was there found it valuable too. So appreciate it.
Thank you, Jo.
Thanks, Jo. See you next time.
Bye.